Right now, somewhere in the world, a person is asleep in a tent with nothing but a few millimeters of nylon between them and a forest full of animals that could kill them in seconds. No lock, no weapon in hand, no awareness of anything happening outside. And yet, statistically, they will wake up. Every single morning all over the planet, this happens millions of times and almost nothing goes wrong. Predators that can smell blood from a mile away, that can see in total darkness, that can snap a human spine without much effort, they walk past. They don't even slow down most of the time. So here's the question that should bother you more than it does. If we are, biologically speaking, slow, weak, blind in the dark, and completely unconscious for a third of our lives, why aren't we just food? Start with something that sounds almost too simple to matter: your voice. In 2019, researchers at the University of California, Santa Cruz, led by ecologist Justine Smith, ran an experiment on wild mountain lions already fitted with GPS collars. They set up speakers near kill sites and played recordings. Sometimes ordinary human conversation, sometimes the sound of a barking dog, sometimes frogs as a neutral control. The mountain lions fled from human voices at almost the same rate they fled from dogs, and in some cases they bolted faster. These are animals capable of dragging a 200-pound deer carcass up a hillside, and they ran from a recording of someone talking about their grocery list. But here's the part that should actually make you sit up. The lions didn't just leave the area. Many of them abandoned kills they had already made, food they'd spent real energy hunting, the moment they heard a human voice nearby. That's not a small decision for a wild predator. Every calorie matters. Walking away from a fresh kill is the animal equivalent of throwing money in a fire. And they did it anyway, over and over, because something about the sound of us registered as more dangerous than the cost of starving a little longer. And that's not isolated to one species. Researchers tracking lions in South Africa's Kruger National Park have documented them shifting their movement to avoid zones of high human activity, even when those zones sit inside otherwise ideal hunting territory. Tigers in parts of India do something similar around villages. None of these animals are physically incapable of attacking us. They're choosing not to, on a scale large enough to show up in tracking data across continents. Then there's the smell problem. And this is where it gets stranger. A bear's nose is estimated to be roughly 7 times more sensitive than a bloodhound's. Wolves can pick up scent from well over a mile away in the right wind conditions. To a nose like that, a sleeping human isn't subtle. You're a walking chemistry experiment. Synthetic fabric, sunscreen, the granola bar from 3 hours ago, soap, deodorant, none of which exists anywhere in the natural diet of a predator. Underneath all of that, you smell vaguely like a primate, but not like anything these animals have a hunting template for. A wolf's predatory drive is tuned to deer, elk, moose. Specific movement, specific scent profiles, built over millions of years of trial and error. You're not in that file. Your noise, the system doesn't know how to categorize, and unfamiliar input for a wild animal defaults to caution, not appetite. And then, fire. This might be the strangest piece of all. Fear of fire isn't something animals learn. Lab-raised animals that have never been near a flame in their lives will still show avoidance behavior at the smell of smoke. It's wired in, probably because animals that ran from fire in the wild survived it, and the ones that didn't. Humans figured out how to control that fear trigger somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago, and we've been sleeping next to it ever since. A campfire isn't just warmth. It's a signal broadcasting into the dark that something here controls the thing every animal is born afraid of. The person who probably did more than anyone to legitimize this whole picture in the scientific record is Justine Smith herself, the lead author of that 2019 Puma study published in the journal Ecology Letters. What made her work matter wasn't just that mountain lions fled. It's that she measured the actual energetic cost of that fleeing and showed predators were sacrificing food specifically because of our presence, not despite it. That turned predators avoid humans from a folk observation into something with hard numbers behind it. Now, here's the honest mainstream explanation, and it's a good one. Optimal foraging theory. Predators, like all animals, are running a constant cost-benefit calculation. Every hunt has a risk: injury, wasted energy, a kill that goes wrong. A predator with healthy access to deer, rabbits, or wildebeest has no reason to gamble on something unfamiliar and unpredictable when familiar prey is sitting right there. Add bipedal posture. Standing upright reads as a threat display across the animal kingdom, the same way a gorilla rears up to look bigger. And a sleeping human just doesn't clear the bar of worth the risk. This explanation accounts for almost everything. It's clean. It's backed by decades of behavioral ecology. And honestly, it should be enough. But here's where it gets incomplete. Optimal foraging theory explains why a hungry, healthy predator skips us. It does not fully explain why animals with zero personal history of human contact, animals born in regions where their ancestors haven't crossed paths with people in generations, still show measurable avoidance the very first time they encounter a human scent or sound. That's not learned caution. That's something closer to inherited memory, passed down through populations that were shaped by centuries of hunting, trapping, and culling, where the bold individuals got removed from the gene pool and the cautious ones didn't. Foraging theory tells you why a predator avoids risk in the moment. It doesn't fully explain how that avoidance got encoded before the animal ever had a moment to learn from. And that gap matters because it means the fear isn't just a calculation predators make on the spot. It might be something closer to a debt we've been collecting from them for thousands of years, embedded in their biology before they're even born. So tonight, when you fall asleep, in your bed, in a tent, wherever, you're not actually as defenseless as it feels. You're carrying something older than your own memory, a signal that radiates outward into every predator nearby, telling it to keep walking. We spent 2 million years teaching the rest of the animal kingdom to be afraid of us before we ever built a wall or locked a door. The real question isn't why predators leave you alone. It's what else in the natural world has quietly rearranged itself around a fear it can't even remember learning.